Hello viewers, today I'm here in Norway. Mainly I'm here in the campus at the University of Oslo. It's based somewhere here in the Blind, I think, and came here to interview the greatest man, one of the biggest African men that's going to be. Just you have to watch him. This is Samwel Ntapanta.
Yeah.
So welcome.
Thank you very much, and you are welcome to Oslo.
Thank you very much.
I'm very happy to have you there.
Thank you very much. So you'll take me to your office, and from there we get on and talk to whatever issue that you came here to talk to here, right?
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
I'm looking forward for talking to you.
Good. All right.
Yeah.
So as you heard, then we're going to talk to Samwel. So stay tuned.
Yeah. First, I think I want to welcome you in Oslo and at the University of Oslo, Department of Social Anthropology. It's an honor to have you here, actually. My name is Samwel Ntapanta. I'm from Tanzania. I was born in Tabora. It's around 900 plus kilometers from Dar es Salaam, the big city, the business hub of Tanzania. So if I start a little bit back from where I started studying, I went for primary school in Tabora, then for secondary school in Tabora also, and high school in Mwanza, and then I ended up at the University of Dar es Salaam doing a bachelor in political science and sociology. After my bachelor's, which I graduated in 2009, I worked for some years first with the local NGO in Dar es Salaam, which based on education and information dissemination about environment issues, climate change, illegal fishing in the Indian Ocean. After I started working with a Danish international organization, it's called Mellemfolkeligt Samvirke, and I was sent to Egypt between the revolution. So the first revolution when Mubarak was ousted, then I was there between the first and then the second one, which ousted Mohammed Morsi. And basically I was working with the young people in a small town 100 kilometers from Cairo. It's called Al Fayoum. But then the second revolution started and we had to leave. So I went back to Tanzania, where I continued working with the Action Aid Denmark as a trainer. So in Tanzania, they had two training centers. One is under the foot of Mountain Meru around Arusha. It's called MSTCDC, where they train, different organizations on campaigning, advocacy, management of organizations. So for me, I was placed in Dar es Salaam at the training center in Dar es Salaam, and I was basically training advocacy and campaigning before moving to Denmark, where I did my master's in human security. Okay.
How it is moving from Tanzania to Denmark?
It's challenging. You move to a new culture, new environment, to talk about weather. The weather in Denmark cannot be compared with the weather in Tanzania. So the language and culture, talk about food. So it was challenging for the first years, but it's also possible to adopt with all these social impediments which everyone is facing when they are moving to a new country. I think I will start a little bit back before my PhD, which I'm doing in social anthropology and trying to understand electronic waste regime in Tanzania, looking on practices, ingenuity and creativity around defunct electronics. But I'll go a little bit back. Why did I end up here? As I've said, I did my master's in human security, and human security is cross-disciplinary master program at the University of Aarhus, but it's under the Department of Social Anthropology. So basically, you are trained with all anthropological methodology and methods. So I end up doing field work in Zanzibar, and I was trying to understand. I'm very interested with technology and how Tanzanian and African societies adopting and integrating themselves with these new technologies which are coming up. So I went there to look on how women integrate or use technologies for social change. So I was following a group of women in Zanzibar and an organization called Barefoot College, which trains women over 30. That's very interesting. So they are targeting middle-aged women. They train them to become solar engineers, and then they go back to the villages in Zanzibar with solar panels and install in the houses. So first I was looking on how these new skills these women are acquiring, how does it change the structures within the household and then within the villages. But also I was very interested on light itself, because light is a very interesting thing. So I wanted to look in these villages which were not connected to electricity, and especially in the households that could not get the normal electricity, so they decided to have solar because it was cheaper, sustainable. So I was trying to understand how the light inside the household configure the normality of interaction within the household. And I was looking between gender, so how women and men are using the new space in the night when they have light. So that's where I started. And that's what I wrote for my master's. So then after finishing, I keep reading about technology, and so basically I was on solar that much. I came across that solar is sustainable, but it's also creating a lot of waste because we use batteries, we use those pivot. At some point, they're gonna become defunct. So what happens? And I was like, oh, with all solar programs that are going on in Tanzania, when I know, so at some point we will generate a lot of solar waste. What happens? So while I was reading around that area, then there was a call for proposal in this project that I'm working now. So this project is called Anthrotalks. It's one of projects at the University of Oslo where they are trying to merge between life sciences and social sciences. How can life scientists and social scientists work together toward one goal? So this project basically is looking on toxins that are in electronics, and how can we understand from social setting, but also from the natural setting, from the life setting. So in this project, we have 6 PhDs. We have a toxicologist, we have a biologist, and we have 4 anthropologists. I will not talk about other people's part in the project. I will talk about my part. So my project basically is trying to understand what happens in Tanzania when electronics get defunct, when they become waste. Also, when is it waste? It's not very clear. There's a lot of discussions. Where is it waste and when is it waste? So
that would be my question as well. When is it waste?
And yeah,
what the definition of waste? Probably this will be after your explanation. What do you define as waste?
Yeah, actually, that's also the basic question of my research. What is electronic waste? To whom is it waste? And where is it waste? So the whole project based on those 3 questions, basically. So that's what I'm trying to understand. So maybe we go back starting to talk about what is electronic waste. So electronic waste is a general term for electrical and electronic devices that has become defect, in a simplistic definition. But there are many other definitions, depends on the context. So we have international conventions that address the issue of electronic waste. So we have the Basel Convention on hazardous waste, which is like the big convention. And then we have the Stockholm Convention, we have Rotterdam Convention, and in Africa we have the Bamako Convention. And then we have NGOs, like activist NGOs, which are trying to create public awareness of electronic waste. So there are so many definitions, depends on how they want to use that definition to clarify electronic waste. So currently the discussion which is going on, some organizations in some countries have defined electronic waste not as a totally defunct electronic, but a device becomes waste when the user decides to discard it. So if you buy a new phone or you buy a new computer, the old one, if you decide to discard it, then it's waste already. So those are some of the deep definitions. Even if it's still working, but you decided to discard it, that's waste. So then comes the issue of, okay, what are we doing with this? Because it's a very new phenomena. It's growing very fast. If you look on statistics, from around 2004 to 2008, we were producing around 20 to 40 million metric tons of electronic waste. But the estimation until 2021 will be going around 60 million metric tons of electronic waste worldwide. So what do we do? The best way to deal with electronic waste is through recycling.